Dear students, myself Sri Krishna sir. So presently I am making a video on the fourth unit. This is the first video of the fourth unit, and the fourth unit is evaluation of nanoparticles. Evaluation in the sense the physico-chemical characterization and pharmaceutical analysis of nanoparticles. Okay, I'll tell you what is what is meant by physico-chemical characterization and what is pharmaceutical analysis when I come to that point. So before actually entering into that part, okay, let us first have a brief review about nanoparticles. Okay, already from the first unit onwards we are discussing what are nanomaterials, what are nanoparticles, okay, their benefits, limitations, applications, etc. Okay, so I'll, okay, I'll remind you once again what are nanoparticles. Okay, nanoparticles are the particles whose all the three dimensions are in the nanometer size range, whereas nanomaterials are the one containing the particles or structures with size range with any one of their dimensions having size ranging in few nanometers. Okay, so this you know already. Okay, and yesterday I posted the material for this fourth unit in your WhatsApp group and asked you to go through that material, and also told you that I will be sharing the videos of this fourth unit, okay, explaining the contents of this fourth unit. Okay, actually the material that I have given you, okay, consists of the physico-chemical characterization and analysis of solid lipid nanoparticles. Solid lipid nanoparticles are an advanced version of nanoparticles. Okay, they are not different from the nanoparticles. They are an advanced version or improved version of nanoparticles. Okay, normally what the term we are saying nanoparticles refers to polymeric nanoparticles, nothing but they are made up of polymers. Usually nanoparticles are prepared using biodegradable polymers for drug delivery. Okay, because of a few drawbacks and limitations, okay, of these polymeric nanoparticles, okay, presently this new category of nanoparticles called solid lipid nanoparticles being concentrated more and more, especially for the especially in perspective of drug delivery, that too targeted delivery of drugs, okay, into our body. Okay, irrespective of the type of nanoparticles, whether polymeric nanoparticles or solid lipid nanoparticles, okay, they are commonly employed for intravenous administration, okay, or intravenous administration of the drug. Okay, it doesn't mean that these nanoparticles cannot be administered by other routes. They can also be administered by other routes, okay, like intramuscular route, okay, and transmucosal route, okay, like buccal route, okay, nasal route, okay, etc, etc. Okay, we can find the examples or the cases in literature, okay, regarding the application or administration of various types of nanoparticles or their preparations, okay, through various routes of administration we can find. Okay, if you just go into the Google and type nanoparticles, you can find some articles wherein you can find, okay, nanoparticles being studied by through administering through those routes other than intravenous routes. Okay, so but what I mean to say is nanoparticles, okay, irrespective of their nature, are commonly used for intravenous administration. Okay, now so so the material that I have given you contains solid lipid nanoparticles. Okay, so whatever may be the type of nanoparticles, okay, the parameters that are to be estimated or that are to be tested, okay, for physicochemical characterization and for analysis are same, except one or two parameters. Okay, there may lie there may exist one or two a difference of one or two parameters, okay, for characterization or analysis in between polymeric nanoparticles and solid lipid nanoparticles. Okay, the name itself, take solid lipid nanoparticles, the name itself indicating, okay, these nanoparticles are composed of lipid material also, whereas polymeric nanoparticles are purely prepared by using uh, purely prepared by using polymeric materials. Okay, so for intravenous administration, these nanoparticles are usually administered in the form of dispersions. Okay, we can say these nanoparticle or dispersions as colloidal dispersion, because uh, you already know that the particle size of particle size of dispersed phase, particle size of dispersed phase particles in a colloidal dispersion uh, ranges from few microns to few nanometers. Okay, you know this already. Okay, so we can also say nanoparticular dispersions as colloidal dispersions. Okay, and coming to solid lipid the benefits of solid lipid nanoparticles over normal nanoparticles, as uh, they have the combined advantages of polymeric nanoparticles, fat emulsions, and liposomes, but simultaneously avoid some of their disadvantages. Listen carefully. Solid lipid nanoparticles combine the advantages of polymeric nanoparticles, fat emulsions, and liposomes, but simultaneously avoid some of their disadvantages. Okay, they are biodegradable, non-toxic, stable against coalescence and the dispersion. Okay, and stable against drug leakage, hydrolysis of the drug, particle growth. Okay, which can oftenly be observed in case of lipid emulsions. Okay, nothing but particle growth. Okay, these types of events, coalescence, drug leakage, hydrolysis, particle growth, can oftenly be observed in case of lipid emulsion. Even liposomes also suffers from some disadvantages. Okay, whereas see these solid lipid nanoparticles, okay, can have are stable. Sorry, these solid lipid nanoparticles are actually stable against all these types of stability problems. Okay, unlike lipid emulsions, which have a fluid core, the solid lipid nanoparticles possess a solid matrix which has the potential for allowing drug release over a period of time or over a prolonged period of time. Okay, and other advantages of solid lipid nanoparticles include low cost of the ingredients for their preparation, ease of their preparation and scale up, high dispersibility in aqueous medium, high entrapment of hydrophobic drugs, controlled particle size, and extended release of entrapped drug after single injection from few hours to several days together. Okay, apart from all these things, uh, whichever may be the type of nanoparticles, they can able to incorporate both hydrophilic and lipophilic drugs for the purpose of drug delivery. Okay, so this is about the what this is about a brief review of nanoparticles. That okay, and specific type solid lipid nanoparticles. Okay, their advantages over polymeric nanoparticles. Okay, etc. Now coming to the actual contents of this unit, that is physicochemical characterization and analysis of the nanoparticles. So these are very similar to the, often we can say these are very similar to the quality control parameters. Okay, of course all physicochemical uh, properties or parameters cannot be, okay, cannot be converted, cannot be termed as quality control parameters. Okay, so that is a different topic. Okay, so for our for the case of our topic, okay, the parameters that, okay, that are generally used to ensure that a standard product is made by the process which is in use include particle size and its distribution, morphology, surface charge, the drug loading capacity, the drug release profile, and physical state. Okay, so these are the main parameters which combines or uh, which covers both physicochemical characterization characteristics as well as, okay, some analytical aspects or some quality control aspects of nanoparticles. Okay, so let us first start, okay, with the physicochemical. Okay, first let us first start with the first parameter, very important parameter, that is particle size and morphology. Okay, nothing but measurement of particle size and morphology. Okay, so before actually going to the methods for discussing the measurement of particle size and morphology, let us have a brief discussion. Let us have a brief discussion regarding the importance of particle size and morphology. Okay, aspects of the nanoparticles. Okay, listen. Particle size characteristics of particle size is very important. Okay, we already know that for fluids that are to be injected or infused into through intravenous route should not contain, okay, particles of higher size. Okay, especially particles that are equal to or greater than 10 microns. Okay, sorry, 5 microns. Okay, 5, This, okay, why? Because this leads to blockage of the capillaries in our body. Okay, as blood flows, the particles will be carried to various locations by the capillaries, and the ultimately, due to the size of these particles, the capillaries may be blocked. Okay, because of this reason, for intravenous preparations, USP has put has already put some limitation regarding the size of the particles and number of particles of that size. Okay, in each bottle of the, okay, parental preparation, in each bottle of the parental preparation, excuse me. Okay, let me stop at this point. In my home, the power has gone. Soon after the power comes, okay, I will make one more video, continuation of this first video, okay, and post it into your group. Okay, thank you.